Good morning, ladies. Today I'm here to do a tutorial on the Sweet and Chic wall hanging kit that May Larson has at creatingwithdetailstore.com. I'm here to show you my take on this beautiful kit, and oh ladies, it is gorgeous. The materials that May has provided are amazing. May did a beautiful one, and I want to share that link with you in the description box below. So let's get started because this may be a little bit long. So the first thing that I did was to create the wall hanging itself. And you can see that there are some wrinkles and stuff in here. I have ironed this until my arms were about to fall off. But that being said, most of this isn't going to show when we're done anyway. What I did was to take this beautiful piece of fabric that May puts in the kit, and I cut it so that I could make it just a little bit more narrow for the purposes of this project. This piece of linen is an antique, and you can see right there. This was the tag that came attached to it. Now, when I cut this, I just cut it right down the center and then just moved it over because I wanted to keep these scallops all the way around the wall hanging. And in order to attach this here and here where I cut it, I simply used this, it's like a hem tape that you can find at any fabric store. And all you do is cut it, put it in where you've put your pieces, and then just iron it very slowly with a, medium heat dry iron, and it will adhere the pieces together beautifully, makes them flat. Now, I'm not doing anything to the back of this simply because it's not going to show. If that bothers you, of course, you could put another piece of fabric, which would give it a little bit more stability when it's hanging. So that was the first step. The second step, because I wanted this to hang and give it a little bit more stability, I had this old curtain, and that's what this is on top, that I simply cut up and measured it to fit on to the linen that May sent, and did the same thing, attached it using this seam tape, and as you can see, it has a really nice cutout at the bottom. It's almost like a Battenberg. So that's what I chose to do with this one. And like I said, you can see the wrinkles where I've ironed and ironed and ironed, but I'm not worried about that because I'm going to cover it up. So that is the base for the wall hanging. Now, I did a very short video recently prior to the kit coming out on how to make a paper mache bodice, because that is what I'm going to be using on this project. I'll put a link below to that video in case you missed it if you don't know how to do it. Probably most of you do. This was just really quick for those who might not have done it before. And again, I am not the originator of this idea. There are oodles of videos on YouTube on how to do this. So when I made the video, I ended with, putting 2 to 3 coats on and allowing it to dry. So now I am going to take my X-Acto knife, and I am just going to cut very slowly right down the middle, or as close to the middle as I can get. Cut this in half so that I can release it from the doll. Now, I have tried doing this with scissors, and it does work, but the problem being when you get to this area right here where the curves are at, it gets a little more difficult to get the scissors over her curves. And you don't have to worry about, you know, this affecting the doll, like I said, because I picked this one up at a thrift store just for strictly using it for these kinds of projects to make the dress forms out of. Okay, so once you have that, you simply lift where you've cut, and you just start to kind of twist and turn to release any of the glue from the paper mache. Sometimes this comes out really easy, other times you just kind of have to fuss with it. And you just kind of open it and twist and release until she pops out. And of course, when I'm on camera, it wants to not cooperate. Any other time, this would just pop right out. So now, if this comes off and the plastic wrap that you've wrapped the body with comes off with it, it just pulls right off, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm trying to do this carefully so that I don't snap the dress form in two, because even though I could fix it, it's not what I want to have happen. So here we go. I can hear it releasing. And sometimes if you just pull the plastic away, it will release a little bit easier. And I think we're going to have success, ladies. I think it's finally coming off. There we go. So now I'll just take this plastic wrap off of here and throw it away and save the form for another project. So any place where you have tape or leftover, oh, it's stuck, plastic wrap, you can just trim that off. Now, I do, at this point, take a pair of scissors and just sort of trim up the neckline so it's nice and even. This is where you can also add just a little bit of shape in the bodice area. And I'm not terribly worried about this being extremely straight, because I'm going to be covering up a lot of this with some of these yummy laces and trims and embellishments that are in this kit. So you can just kind of shape it any way you want to. I'm going to put a little bit more of a V in there. Okay, that's good enough. Now what you need to do, because this is a full dress form, is you need to cut this basically in half. You're going to cut off this part right here so that when you put it onto the wall hanging, it's going to lay flat. So I'm going to show you how I did that. And you just kind of want to cut it as straight as you can so that you have one flat piece on the back, like that. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And I kind of eyeball it like right next to the breasts here, just to the other side, so it's just like the halfway point on the side. And as you can see, doing the curves, you have to kind of go back and forth from top to bottom to get around them. And some areas it's a little bit more difficult because there might be, you know, some thicker paper mache there. So there is your dress form that you're going to be using on the wall hanging. Let me just get all that right out of the way. And I am going to trim this up down here on the bottom. Probably wouldn't have to because, like I said, we're going to cover this completely. So there are the mechanics out of the way. Now, what I'm going to do next is to, before I put this onto the wall hanging itself, I want to try and decorate, at least partially, the dress form to put all of the goodies on here before I attach it. It just makes it a little bit easier to do that. Now, what I have decided to do is I want this to be kind of, I don't know, almost fairy-like, I guess I would say. So I've decided to use this absolutely gorgeous piece of trim, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's got, there you go, it's got silver metallic threads in it, and it is just beautiful. So what I'm going to do is just cut off a piece from here, and I'm going to gather it and put that underneath the bottom of the dress form to try to give it a full skirt effect. So, and I'm just going to eyeball this, get these scissors out of the way, and just cut it between two of these little ruffles here. And then I'm going to take a needle and thread, and you can use any color thread that you want to use. It doesn't have to be fancy because it's going to be hidden underneath here. So what I'm going to do is just take a running stitch. I'm going to do a lock stitch here at the beginning, and even though it doesn't matter what color thread you use because it's going to be hidden, I would advise that you use a like a quilting thread or something like that that would give it some strength, because when you finish gathering this, you're going to pull it to gather it. So I just take a running stitch all the way across, and this needle is another product that's carried over at Creating with Details. It's like 5 inches long, which I love because it allows me to gather a lot of fabric before I pull it through. Sometimes I can, you know, do the running stitch all the way across before I have to move it down the needle. It just makes it a little bit quicker. And also, these needles are great for those who have like arthritis or any type of problem you may have with your hands, because they're so big that it allows you to use it without having to get cramps or you know, your hands hurting. So it's an awesome needle. I love it. So I'm almost done gathering this here. I just love this. It's so beautiful. Shiny. Yeah, like shiny. And I just, when I saw this and the materials that were in the kit, I kept thinking, oh, this kind of looks like a fairy. Little princess. You could even use this for a bride. Something of that. Angel. An angel would be beautiful. So now that I have gathered this, I am going to just check this at the end to keep the gathers in place the way I want them. Here we go. Okay, now as you can see, because I'm going to fold this so that it lays like this underneath the bodice, and when you do that, it almost gives it this feeling of being like a, what do they call that, like a tea-length dress. So I'm going to take my glue gun and turn the bodice over and just apply some glue to the very bottom of the bodice like that. And then once you have it gathered the way that you want it, you just simply glue this in place. So that after it's glued, it looks like this. And you can play with your ruffles, but I'm going to be adding some other things to this as well. Some of the other trims that came in this gorgeous kit. One of them is this beautiful, it's got little rhinestones on it, and it's on a mesh. It's embroidered. And I'm just going to take a couple of pieces of this and attach it to the inside of this little skirt that we just created. And if this is too long, you can always, trim it up. So what I'm doing is just opening this back up from the back side. Adjusting my ruffles a little bit here. I see a part that I missed. And gluey. And I'm just going to attach these like this, and just gathering it or pinching it in the center and gluing it right here into the back. Now you're probably thinking, geez, that's messy. It doesn't matter because you're not going to see this part. It's all hidden once it goes onto the canvas. Same thing with this piece. I'm just going to pinch it and glue it. And all this does is just add a little bit of interest, a little bit of movement, a little more fullness to the dress itself. Now, also included in this kit is a length of these. I love these things. There's so many uses for these. I'm going to, these little pearls that are on like fishing lines, so it looks like pearls floating in the air. I'm going to cut off a couple of pieces of this as well to put into the dress. And we'll probably be using some more of that later on. And again, just kind of find a place where you want it, glue it, I kind of want these to come down in between the little folds and gathers. So, as you can see, once you do that, you can arrange your ruffles and your little dangles. And I'm going to cut these end pieces of this trim on an angle just so it kind of mimics the shape of the other lace. Just gives it a little bit more finished look. Not something you have to do. If you like it straight across, that is perfectly fine too. Okay. For now, excuse my voice, ladies. I've got whatever this stuff is that's going around. So if I'm a little froggy or kind of hard to understand, that's why. But I did want to, oops, that came off. That's not good. That is not supposed to happen like that. Ah, c'est la vie. Stuff happens. You just glue it back on and hold it a little bit longer. So the next step is I want to cover the bodice here. And to do that, I have, now when I did this, kind of jumping backwards a little bit, when I did this paper mache dress form, I just used regular printer paper and ripped it into strips, and then I just kind of painted it with a coat of gesso just to give it that white look, because I wanted the back white. So I am going to take a piece of this beauty right here, and I am going to attach it like this to the bodice. This is just one layer, so I'm just going to cut that right there. And I'm only coming down below the waistline because I want this little fringe or scallop, sorry, to be over the top of the skirt. See, like that. But I think I need to add something else underneath there. So this beauty, oh, this is just gorgeous. It's on a mesh, hand embroidered. I think I'm going to take a piece of this and try it underneath there just to give it a little bit more interest. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I like that, but we still need one more piece, as I can still see the dress bodice through the laces. So I am going to take a piece of this. Let's try this and see how that works. Yeah, I like that because I've got some other embellishments that we're going to add to this too, just to dress her up even more. So I am just going to take a piece of this trim that I used in the bottom of the skirt and glue it right here. Oops. I'm just gluing it on the sides. You don't have to worry about doing the top because, or the bottom, because you want that to be able to move a little bit. And the top is going to be covered with some more laces. So there's that piece. Now I'm going to take the next piece and again find the right sides. These are so hard sometimes to find the right sides because they're so high quality. I think I want to cover up those little rhinestone flowers here. I think I'm going to go above that. And just, see, I'm trying to put the little scallops in between here. So that's what I'm going to do. There we go. And I'm not going to cut this off because, again, I'll just glue this around. It just gives it a little bit more texture, and it's pretty. So I'm just going to glue that right there. And again, I'm just gluing very, very lightly because I want this to, I don't want the glue to show through and make it all hard. So I'm going to cut that off. And I am going to wrap this piece all the way around to the back of the bodice of the dress form, because that way I can get more of the curves. I don't want to lose her curves. That would be horrible. I know, because I've lost mine. Okay, so that's what we have so far. And now I'm just going to start tucking and gluing. Right here, I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to tuck at the waistline. And ladies, if you have sensitive fingers, I wouldn't advise that you glue the way that I am. However, these Surebonder glue guns that make Aries are not the high temp glue guns, so it is a little bit easier on the fingers. But if you have very sensitive skin, I would not advise that you do this. Get, you know, some of those silicone tools that they have for hot glue guns and use those, or I don't know, pencil eraser or something of that nature, because when I'm gluing this, I keep turning it over to make sure that I'm keeping her curves where they need to be. I'm just adding little bits of glue to hold it down in the back. Now, see at the top here, you've got this netting sticking out. So what I'm going to do is just kind of tuck and fold and glue. And this is where you might want to use a little tool because this netting is so thin. After years of using the old high temp glue guns, my fingers have gotten kind of calloused and used to the heat. So and you could cut this off if you didn't want to mess with all this. I like a challenge. So there is that part. Now I think I'm going to use some of this, and I'll put that on the top of the bodice like this, I think. Again, I want to try and line up the scallops, but I don't want to cover up that pretty trim right there. So I think I'm going to go like this. Let's see, maybe, let's try something else. I'm thinking on the fly, ladies. Oh yeah, I like that. Yep. So what I'm going to do, this gorgeous trim that I used in the skirt, I'm just going to cut off one section like this, and I am going to attach that with this point going down the center of the dress. You can still see that trim that I used underneath through this because it is lace, and I want to glue this to the top. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Now, of course, when you get your kit, and I do hope that you're able to get one, if you haven't already, um, you're going to want to sit and play with it and kind of figure out what designs you like. And I need a new glue stick here. And just kind of, figure out your own design. Now, when you glue this down to the actual wall hanging, you're going to be gluing this so that it lays a little bit smoother. Right now, it's kind of all over the place. So all I'm doing is just gluing right along the edge of the bodice, kind of stretching and gluing at the same time. And then up here, I'm doing the same thing. I just want to kind of glue this to the bodice. And I do have another piece that's going to go on here. I have a little piece right here, don't worry. And tons of glue strings. So that is her so far. And after I glue this on, I will kind of straighten these little pieces out. And you may want to add or subtract from your skirt if you think it's too busy. Now, I think I'm happy with the skirt like that. I'll fix the ruffles and stuff when she goes onto the canvas. But included in this gorgeous kit is this little applique, and May used this in her wall hanging as a crown. She glued it this way over a gorgeous vintage image that she put on hers. So I am going to use this. I think I'm going to try it right here on the bodice of the dress. This is starting to look more and more like a wedding dress, but that's okay. Yeah, I like that. So all I'm going to do is just add a little bit of glue and attach this to the bodice. Just like that. See? Now, this is where I have stepped outside of the box, really stepped outside of the box, in designing this particular wall hanging. I originally was going to try to make a hat out of this beautiful doily, which I promptly cut in half, that also came in the kit. I originally was going to gather this and, kind of make a floppy brimmed hat. Well, that didn't work out so well. So I cut it in half and I thought, well, I'll find some way to use this. So one of the things that I thought about doing was to make like a little shawl or even make some, like little sleeves. I'm not sure I'm going to use this, but I'll tell you why I decided that I wanted to have something like that is I recently figured out how to print on fabric, and I'm having so much fun with it. Well, I was looking at May's project, and I thought I really like that image on there, but I didn't want it to be a, flat image. So I printed off some images using the fabric on my printer. of this little lady right here. And I sewed around her to kind of make like a little two-dimensional pillow. As you can see, I just used muslin on the back and created this little kind of two-dimensional pillow. And my idea is, and I certainly hope this works because I've never done this before, was to attach her to the top of the dress form and then build a hat with the other materials that are in the kit, the embellishments. So I'm going to try this, but before I glue it down and decide, I'm going to make sure that it all works. So that's that step in creating the bodice. Now I want to go back to the actual wall hanging itself. What do I do with it? Here it is. And kind of cover up and embellish the dress form before I decide where I want to place her on here. Okay, so there is a gorgeous lace trim that May includes in this kit that I thought might be beautiful. Oops, I'm going backwards. Running along the edge to hide where that seam is, or the edging where I attached this other piece of trim. I just want to make sure I'm going to have enough to go all the way around before I start. Oops, maybe not. Well, I do have enough to go around here, and I can use a different one for the top. That'll work. So, think on the fly. You just think on the fly. So I'm just going to cut this kind of at an angle and measure and do the same thing on this side. Like that. And I still have this little piece that we might use some birthtails on here. I have to cut that off because it's just a little too long. Okay, then I'm going to take the hot glue gun and I am just going to put a dab here to attach this to the wall hanging. And don't worry, any edges that you see here are going to be covered up with goodies. I'm sorry, that whining in the background is my dog trying to get my attention. She's just a tad bit spoiled. And just like a kid, when you're busy doing something, they want all your attention. I'm going to cut that piece off right there. Like when you're on the phone or something like that. Any other time, she totally ignores me. But that's what they do, those little furry babies. Oops. Now, I don't think, at this point, I'm not going to glue these edges down because I like that movement. So I'm going to flip this around and do the other side. Just adding a little dabadooya of glue. And right on the, oops, right on the edges. Oh my word, she is like running around in between my legs underneath the desk, trying to get my attention. They crack me up. These animals do. I have to keep checking to see where I've glued. You keep all your little pieces, ladies. You know, I don't have to tell you that, but it's amazing what you can come up with you just get all those pieces and start, put them out on your work table and just start playing. Okay, so I've done this trim on the outside edges. I see a little bit of pieces where the stitching on this old curtain came out. So now we're going to try and figure out what we want to use on the top. And I think this might be kind of pretty. Put it right on the edge. I don't know. It might be too wide. Let's try this. See how that looks. No, I don't like that. Okay. What else do we have? Let's see. Oh, this is gorgeous. Yeah, I think that's the ticket right there. Let me see with the dress form on here. Yep. That's the one that I want to use. I'll lift these back up. I didn't think this through very well, but I want this to come over top of. If I can get them loose. This is where I could use some of that product that they have for removing hot glue. I've seen it work and it looks amazing. Okay, there we go. So I just want to put this piece under here like this. And just rub that glue. That. And reattach. Hope I wasn't on a frame during all that. I'm sorry, I get caught up. Now, right now you can still see where I attached the two pieces. That's okay, because we're going to fix it. So, I'm just going to cut this off right here. I'm sorry, I'm on a frame. Oops. And again, lift this up where oh, good. You forgot to glue that one. And just add some glue. And tuck this right inside. I really glued that one good, didn't I? So this is where sometimes pre-planning comes in handy. So just gonna tuck this underneath here and glue it like that. And glue this back down like that. Again, I don't want to glue this part down because I want that movement when it's hanging. So there's that. Now let's figure out what we want to put right here. There are two of these beautiful little appliques. They kind of look like little hearts that maybe I'll put right here. I think I will cut off this little circle part. And that's the fun of doing things like this, is that you can, you know, build as you go, layer, and I am going to attach this part up here because I don't want that to flop down when it's hanging. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Because even though I want movement, I don't want the little pieces to flop down over our little lady. So I'm going to put another one right here. And there are still areas that can be seen. So I have another idea for that. In with the embellishments that came with this awesome kit are some flat back teardrop pearls. And there's also some round ones. So let's see which ones I want to use here. I think maybe, yeah, let's put a couple of those right there. And then maybe use the teardrop ones on the side. I'm sorry, ladies. I hope my voice holds out through this. I wanted to get this done because I said I was going to do it today. So the cold is just going to have to knock it off until I get this done. And use one more on this side over here. Like that. So now let's see what else. I think at this point I want to attach the dress forms so that I can start building around her. Like that. And I don't know if I'm going to use this or not. I may, but that'll be a good spot. So I am just going to take some glue on both sides of the dress form here. And you could use E6000 for this if you wanted to, because, you know, with temperature, humidity, that kind of thing, sometimes the hot glue gun could give way. But for the purposes of the video, and I'm sorry my head's in the way, I decided to use hot glue gun because who has time to let the E6000 dry, right? Okay. So now we have the just form glued onto the wall hanging part. And from this point, we can start building with the other embellishments from the kit. And for right now, I am going to just lay her. I didn't glue the top down. I am going to lay her right there. Not going to glue it because I don't know if I want to use it yet. This is not something I've done before, so I'm a little outside of the box. And I want to make sure before I glue her that this is going to be what I want it to be. So, alright. Now, there are some other, what did I do with them? Oh, there are some beautiful flowers that are included in the kit. Look at those. They're just stunning. And there's also this gorgeous little brooch medallion kind of thing, which I think I'm going to be using in here. And some more of this. I'm just going to kind of lay out all of these things, and we'll just sort of play and see what we want to do. Now, my original thought, like I said, was to take this and kind of, you know, roughly gather it into like a hat, make like a floppy brimmed hat, but that didn't work out too well, so I went with plan B, which I was thinking that I could build like a hat, so to speak, out of the flowers. So I need to get my wire cutters here so that I can cut some of these off. And like I said, I am just going to attempt this before I glue anything down to the actual wall hanging. And these are some little pearl sprays. Okay, that we're going to use in here somewhere. So this is a hair pick that Creating with Details carries in their wedding supply. I am going to just snip off this part, actually just bend it off, and I still have the hairpin that I can use for something else. So my thought was to maybe do something like this. What should I do? Oh, here it is, right in front of my face. I apologize for the noise in the background. My husband is on the prowl, and he's working on our house, trying to fix things up. So anyway, I'm not going to put that like that, but this flower spray that also comes in the kit, I decided I am just going to cut some of these off of here and use them individually. I've got to get another pair of cutters because this is some pretty thick wires. And I snagged these from my husband's toolbox, and they're now mine. He cannot have them back because they work really, really well for cutting through thick, thick wire. So all I'm doing is just basically snipping off each one of these components that are on the spray so that I can use them individually. And where these leaves are at, I want to kind of keep the wire in there if I can. Ooh, well, you know, it'll still work. Like that. So cutting it apart like that, you get a lot more ability to use these pieces in different various ways instead of trying to find one place to put that one big piece. And that's why I love working with these sprays like this. Okay, so I think since I've cut this off, this kind of reminds me a little bit of maybe a hat. So let's see. Oh yeah, that's cool. I like that. So I'm going to lay that there. Let me move some of these pieces out of the way. Then there were some of these little daisy-like flowers that maybe we can add on here like this. Just pop that underneath there. And I'm just playing. As you can see, I did not stuff this completely full. I just wanted to give it the illusion of being like two-dimensional. Let's try one of these leaves right here to give it a little height. Maybe kind of give it that featherish look. And then maybe put a little, looks kind of like a tulip. Now I don't want this hat to be symmetrical. I want it to be kind of asymmetrical in doing this. So that's why I'm not trying to make both sides look the same. I don't know, ladies, what do you think? I think I'm going to go for it because, like I said, it's different. And then over here, this was another reason that I didn't want it symmetrical in its shape. I think I'm going to attach that little crown somehow. Yeah, maybe not. I don't like that on there. But we will use that someplace else. Okay, ladies, I'm committing. And committing, probably should be committed, but I am committing to using this head. I hope I have not seriously made a mistake, but you know what? You never know unless you just do it. So, there she is. She's glued down. There's no going back now. Well, you could, but I'm not gonna. So now I'm going to take this little piece here, and I am going to attach it with some glue behind her head to give it that kind of look. Oh, there goes my voice. It sounded all squeaky. Okay, now these flowers or leaves have wire in them so that you can bend them however you want to and shape them the way that you want to. So I think I'm just going to curl that one around that way so it kind of goes over her eyeball a little bit. I can't remember the name of that actress, but I always had her hair kind of over one side of her face. And then I'm going to glue one of these. And I think sometimes as crafters, we tend to overthink things. And I found that many times if I just don't overthink it and just do it, it usually comes out pretty good. Because I only confuse myself when I overthink things. Let's see, we're going to put that right there. And like I said, you'll have your own visions when you make yours, because I just know you're going to want to make one, because these are so much fun. You just get to play. So there she is. Let me zoom in just a little bit so you can see what I've done so far. Now when I zoom in, I can see that right here I need some more height on this part. So I'm going to start building to give it that more hat-like look that I'm after. Because this is what, loosely interpreted, this is supposed to look like. And these are like a mesh that you can just kind of bend them however you want to. And see what I mean about tearing these pieces, or not tearing, but cutting these little components apart. It makes it so easy to use them and build on a piece. And then I'm going to add, I'm kind of looking at it from your viewpoint. Nah, I don't like that. It should look like a mushroom head. Let's see. We'll just use some more of these and a few more leaves. Yeah, I think I like that. Let's see, what else do we have? Glue strings. Glue strings. Egg warrior. Yeah. I really apologize for all the noise in the background. Yeah. Okay. So there is that. Now, I don't like this part right here because she looks like she's been choked. So, I think what I'm going to do is find something to put there, maybe like a little choker. This is another piece of gorgeous lace. Yeah. What I'm going to do is untangle myself from all of these glue strings. I am going to just take a small piece and cut off these little dangly parts right here, just so I can use this top part as like a little choker. Like this. Yeah, I like that. So I'm just going to take a little dab of glue. There we go. Get rid of the glue strings. And let's see. Yeah, I like that there. So we're going to use that piece. Again, probably E6000 would be a better idea for this particular piece because it does have some weight to it. And I may go back afterwards and glue this on with some E6000. I'm just going to put that right there just to give it a little extra bling. And I see another place I want to add another leaf. Leaf slash feather, because that's kind of the look that I'm going for. I'm going to bring this down to the side a little bit, like that. And I still have a couple of other leaves that I may use someplace else. Now, the focal point, of course, is the dress form and our little lady. But I do want to embellish some other areas of the wall hanging. So I think what I'm going to do is use a couple of these other flowers that are in this kit. And I also have, I just love this. Read this little dangle. I think I'm going to use that right there and attach a flatback pearl to that. We use that flower right here somewhere. I'll move this around as I figure out what I'm doing as I play. I do have a couple of other leaves left. I think I will use, I'm sorry, I'm out of frame. I think I will use on here. Yes, I like it. Now this was the bridal hairpin that I just cut the hairpin off of. And I'm just going to attach a leaf like that. And then another one. And these have those little pearl sprays that are coming out of this flower, which just is so pretty. And I think in looking at this, because we've got so many little sprays everywhere else, that I'm going to add some sprays to this piece right here by just attaching this to the back of it, because you're not going to see this, just to the back of this little applique, like that. And I think maybe I'll do another one just to give it that added texture and movement that I love to have in pieces like this. Yeah, that's the ticket. So, like I said, I'm just going to attach the stems right to the back of the applique. And you're not going to see that little, whoops, I am totally out of focus. Sorry, ladies. You're not going to see that little piece because I'm going to be adding some pearls to this. And this probably is making no rhyme or reason as you're watching me do this, but that's just how my mind kind of bounces around and does its own thing when I am creating. So we're going to put that there. And then I'm going to take another one of these beautiful flat back pearls. And I'm going to add that right to the center. Make sure I am in frame this time. I apologize. I have a kind of a small working area on my desk, so sometimes it's a little bit difficult to keep in frame. Let me zoom back out a little bit. That might help you be able to see a little bit better. Duh. Okay, so up to this point, this is what we have, and I want to hold it up so I can see this a little bit better. Okay. And this is the bottom. her dress, and then we have the flower here in the bottom corner and this medallion up here in the top corner. So let's play with some other embellishments on here, because we have lots to play with in this kit. Let's see. I really love the movement in this piece. And I like how it just, get that out of the way, falls. So I may use another piece right here. Just give it that added extra movement. Yeah, I like that. So when I cut this apart, I'm just going to cut around the petals or leaves that are on here. Like that. And I'm just going to lift up the dress and lift up the flower and just kind of tack this on here kind of loosely. And when you're making these, as you guys know, there's a lot of playing around that goes on with trying this and trying that. No, I don't like that, but yeah, I like this. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm just playing, and you guys are along for the ride. Ouch. Again, I'm going to lift that off, just like I did up here at the top, and just kind of just do a little glue that back down over top of it, and just glue this piece at the bottom so that it all kind of goes in sort of seamlessly. I'm sorry if I seem a little bit distracted. Part of it is this yuckiness that I have, and the other part is my husband is trying to build and bang, and he thinks he's being quiet, but I have to keep giving him the evil eye and going, that's not quiet. Stop. Okay. Now let's see, what else do we want to do? No, I don't like that. No. No. Okay. I just wanted to see what this would look like on here. And I don't like that. I like it the way it is. That might look kind of cute on there. I am thinking after I've done something already. But you know what? I like that on top of there. I just hope there's enough left. And there is, because I'm not going to go across here. Yeah, that'll finish it off well. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to add this little trim that I used to make the little choker on top of this one here. Measure that out and cut this. And then just at intervals along the way, I'm going to just add some glue just to keep it tacked down. Now you could take more time than me if you wanted to glue this down a little more securely, but for the purposes of a video, whoops, I'm just going to loosely do it. And just measure this off right here. Like that. And like I said, you can take far more time than I am, ouch, to attach this. I'm just trying to keep this from being like a 2-hour video, I guess, while you watch me make up my mind and glue stuff. So you can always go back and you can add more items, take away items. That's the nice thing about crafting is, or creating, is it's all in what you find pleasing to the eye, and not everyone's gonna like it, and that's okay, because art is subjective. It is all in the eye of the beholder. So what may look good to me, somebody else might say, no, I don't really like that. But again, that's okay. You don't have to, because we all see different things oops, when we're creating. And I think I am just going to add, yes, this little applique that also came in the kit. I think I'm going to add that right here, just to kind of maybe soften the edges of her little head, like that. There we go. Yeah, I like that. And I think what I'm going to do, because I like some of these going up at the top, is I'm just going to dab a little bit of glue and kind of fan these out a little bit. These little sprays of pearls. Yeah, like that. Okay, and now I have another piece of applique. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. And I am going to use on this side just to give it a little bit of balance. I don't know which way I want. I like it like that. Now we're just going to play with what we're going to do with that. And I was just looking at her dress, and I think what I'm going to do is just lift this up and add a few more of these little dangles to the dress. Maybe, maybe not. I was just looking at it and thought maybe just a little bit more. I'm just going to stick that up underneath here and see how that looks. Now you really can't see it. Okay. Bad idea there, but maybe we could add some more movement right here, or even over here. Maybe. I do have one of these little flowers, and that almost looks like a pair of wings. And I don't want it going that way. It really does kind of look like a set of wings. Let me zoom in and see. Oh, wrong side. Duh. Yes, I like that, but I think what I'm going to do is flip this around like this. No, it has to go this way. I'm looking at it upside down, like that. I'm just going to trim this up a little bit. And add, what did I do with those here? Maybe add a couple of little pieces of this at the bottom, like that. Yep, that's what we're going to do. Okay, so since I have this where I want it, basically, I'm just going to run some glue on the little applique in the back. And then I'm going to make sure that this is in the center of this applique. And I'm going to glue that down. Ouch. Glue hot. And a little bit here to glue our other wing. Like that. And then before I attach this, I want to add some of these pearl sprays to it. I'm just going to use this big pearl right here. Attach it right to the center of our wing. Cut off this big one because I think it's too big for this piece. And glue the other side of our wing down. Oops. So there we have a whole lot of glue strings. Wow. So there we have this piece added. Looks like a little wings. And we want to add one more thing right here just to keep it balanced a little bit. Let's see, what do I want to use? Let's try something like this. This is also another piece that I may put into the kit. And we may be able to spin these up a little bit. I'm seeing a butterfly. So let me move this out of the way for a minute. And let's play with this piece because we have these gorgeous laces. There's this one which I have not used yet that I think would be beautiful. It has a butterfly wing. Yes it would. So I'm just going to cut off 2 pieces like this, and I'll probably have to trim them down a little bit, but and this is another one of those pieces. I'm looking at this as I'm cutting it, that you really have to look to see the right side from the wrong side. So I am just going to give this a little bit more of a butterfly shape. Okay, and let's see what that does. I kind of like that. Gives it a little bit of movement. Well, let's try one other thing before I decide. Let's see how this one. That one's a little bit too big. Let's see about this. If we gathered this, oh, I kind of like that. Maybe even, yes, I like it. Okay, that's what we're going to do. I am going to take some of this trim right here and just trim it up just a little bit, because this part you're not going to see, it's going to be glued. I'm cutting like 1, 2, 3 of the little flowers or circles off of this trim, and I'm not going to gather this or do a running stitch. I am simply going to gather this with the hot glue gun as I go along, just for time, because I know I can't see how long I've been on here, but I know it's a while. So I want to try to get this wrapped up. So as you can see, I am just kind of finger gathering this, and I'm going to glue it right here to the side of this medallion. And these metal pieces are absolutely phenomenal pieces to work with, because, did I glue that on upside down? See, you can't tell, but I think I did, so I'm just going to flip it over. That's what I mean about the quality of these pieces. You can't really tell when you've put them on upside down. So, do that over again, like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Oops. Cut this off a little more evenly. And make sure I have the right side this time, if I can tell. Okay, there we go. And just sort of gather this up. So it kind of resembles a butterfly wing. Add a little bit of glue here. And attach our other wing. And while you're holding it, you can adjust the gathers to suit you, just like that. Now I've cut off this other piece, which may be just a bit too long, so I'm going to cut this piece right here and do the same thing. I'm just going to kind of tuck this just to give it more of a wing shape, and I'm going to glue that right here. You're probably thinking that looks like a hot mess, but I'm going to cover it. I promise. You won't see that. See? always have to check because, like I said, you're just never sure with these these pieces, this laces and trims, which is the right and which is the wrong side. But either way, they're gorgeous. And I love, love, love working with these. They're so much fun. So there we have that. And now, I think, after I disentangle myself from all of these little glue strings, I think what I'm going to do, see, this is kind of the butterfly effect that I was going for. I am going to take some of these, and this will look like the head. Glue that right in the center. But first, I think what I'm going to do is I had a piece of this left over from where I cut these wings out. I think what I'm going to do is just glue that right there. Yep. It'll help hide some of that yuckiness that we just created in making the wings. And I'm just going to cut around those little flowers at the bottom and up here at the top. Just give it the illusion of a tail and a head. Sorry, my dog is like the neighborhood watch dog. If there's a leaf moving, she's going to find it and bark at it. So now I'm just going to glue this right to the center. And let's see, do I want to add anything else? Nah. Alright, so I'm going to add, I know. I got an idea. I'm going to add this to make it look like the body. Maybe two. You know how butterfly's body is kind of like raised. So maybe I'll go this way. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. And all I have left to do really at this point, ladies, is attach the hanger to the wall hanging. And that will be it. After I attach this to the wall hanger, I have a huge mess in my work area, but that's okay because that's what we do. We make messes to create. So we have little like angel wings over here, and now I'm going to attach this butterfly, which I'm going to put kind of in an angle like that. And again, I would recommend that you use E6000 to glue this piece on. And you can even further bend these wings back down. This metal is very easy to bend so that it gives it that little softer look. Okay, ladies, I think that I am just about done with this as it is. I hope you liked it. I hope you like my crazy idea of using the little stuffed head. And if you like this, please give me a thumbs up, share and subscribe. And also, if you create one of these, I would really, really, really love to see it. So if you could send a picture to either to me on, at my email or YouTube or on Facebook and just tag me in it, I would really, really love to see it. I'm so inspired by what other people do. So ladies, until next time, be blessed, be creative, be kind and supportive, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.